Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sippin and Selling
with Joey Chanel. Welcome back to another episode of Sippin and Selling. Today, my guest is Morgan Zanotti. She's from Whey Protein Beverage. Welcome to the show, Morgan.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. I can't wait to talk about this new innovation in this white space. I was talking to you a little bit before about Whey. I'm drinking the grapefruit flavor today. I wanted to match it. But you have 3 other flavors as well that are sitting behind me if Ben wants to pan out and show these gorgeous colors. Your packaging is on point. It's stellar. And you probably had a few changes, a few ideas, a few innovations and different versions of this can. But I wanted to just touch on with your introduction that you have a history in a little bit of a different area, a little well-known brand that I happen to have in my home, and I'm sure many listeners have had either seasoning, sauces, whatever you want to call them, mayonnaise, alternatives, salad dressings from a brand named Primal Kitchen. So I think that without further ado, let's touch on there a little bit about who this big boss babe is who's here on Sippin and Selling. Prior to her Sippin product, she was selling something called Primal Kitchen. So I would love to get into that a little bit, Morgan, just to give your background.
Sure. Yeah. Where do you want me to go? All the way back, or just?
I don't think there's a bad place to start. I think that if it were me, I would say, listen, I was just entering the sales industry because I started at. Where did you start?
Well, yeah, I'll give you the background. So I grew up in Chicago, have an accounting degree, did that for a year, super bored, ended up quitting my job to be a waitress at my aunt and uncle's Dirty Dancing Resort, moved to South America for 2.5 years, came home, had my whole health and wellness crisis, went to work for an agency, an advertising agency, and I managed the Frito-Lay account for them. So it was kind of like I was having this existential health and wellness crisis of my own, and just on this major discovery phase for me in my 20s of what's the best diet for me? What supplements should I be taking? I was kind of trying to do longevity stuff before that was a thing, intermittent fasting before that was a thing. And then working in the food industry, but for Frito-Lay. And then I moved to California like every, nuts and berries seeking health and wellness hippie does when I was 28. Got a job running marketing for a brand called Kavita. So actually beverage. They were the number 2 kombucha player. I was there when they were sub 10 million in revenue. I left 9 months later. They had structured a buyout early on to PepsiCo for, I don't know, I think it was 300 or 400 million.
Not a big number at all.
No. But
I love Kavita.
Kavita's great. Yeah. So it was a fun brand to work on. We were in a garage. It was super scrappy early days, chaos. And then and then I met Mark Sisson at an event, this guy who was considered kind of the grandfather of the paleo movement, if you will. Maybe he'd be mad I say grandfather, but the father of the paleo
the founding
movement.
father.
The founding father. He was a paleo OG guy. And he was hey, I want to launch this food and beverage or this food company. I don't know anything about it. Can you help? So I left Kavita and started consulting for Mark, and then ultimately came on as co-founder and president. We worked for 2 years before we commercialized our first product. I came on right before we brought the product to market full time, and then ran Primal Kitchen from 0 to 50 million. We scaled the business pretty scrappily. We only raised 4 million a year before we sold. And then we exited to Kraft Heinz for 200 million in 2019. And then I stayed and actually ran Primal Kitchen for Kraft Heinz, so reporting into Kraft Heinz corporate for 5 years. And then a year and a half ago, I was life isn't crazy enough. I think I'll enter in this beverage space.
That's
again.
Hilarious. You missed it a little bit, it sounds like. All the while, I think you were having a family probably started too, right?
Yeah. When we sold Primal, when we were negotiating the sale, I was 32 weeks pregnant with my first boy, had 2 more boys. In 3.5, I had 3 kids in 3.5 years. So 3 boys in 3.5 years. And then, I'm just drowning in toddler boys and selling clear whey protein isolate.
That's hilarious. Well, listen, I mean, as if you didn't have enough time free, you were might as well just throw something else in the mix and see what's going to happen. So All right. So is Mark your partner in this beautiful product?
No, I'm like flying solo on this
You
one.
are.
So, yeah, I raised a little bit of money this summer from a female VC, Kate McAndrew at Bachkunst. And then, yeah, I'll probably raise a little more money this quarter and we're off to the races.
I love it. So, yeah, that's a great place to start, just to give some people background if they are not familiar with you. And I'm sure they know what Primal Kitchen is, maybe by the label, but didn't necessarily know like the brand name. Sometimes that happens, just packaging
Yeah.
recognition. So
Yeah.
now you guys know this. She's a big deal, and she has a new product coming out. It's out in stores now in several locations like Sprouts and Whole Foods. It's called Whey. Wait, there we go. Whey. What's with the double A? Is there a reason behind it?
I mean, it's a little bit of a play on whey protein, but also like the whey,
California, like Whey. Like, hey.
kind of. Yeah. I think just all the like fun ways you can play on the word whey, more or less. Like, yeah.
I love it.
And in beverages, you may know, I needed something that was like registerable in class 5 and class 32. So that's like sparkling drinks, non
Mhm.
alcoholic, and supplements because there's protein in it. And it's a it's a bitch to register a beverage brand. Like there are just so many brands. We come up with like 40 different ideas for the name, like send them
Mhm.
to the USPTO and like they'd all be taken already. Like, yeah. So
Everything, the
painful.
flavoring, the fids for that. There's so many things, and I want to break it down a little bit because a lot of people who do listen are they're familiar with the beverage alcohol space, but I'm trying to branch out and give everybody in the beverage industry outside of spirits and wine a voice because there are such cool innovations happening. I always like to highlight female founders. You and I got connected just because of Google, to be honest. I was like Googling some cool female founded brands. I personally also am on like a health and wellness ish, like a tiny pinch journey. I turned 40 last year and I was getting in shape and I don't do enough protein. I am like I eat like a rabbit. I'd much rather do vegetables, fruit here and there. But when I started working out with a trainer, she was like, it's so important to have protein in your diet. And I was never, like most females, were under eating protein. And so I'm looking for other ways, of course, because I'm a mom like you. I'm on the go all the time. And for a minute, I was doing like the protein shakes and that sort of thing, and even adding it into coffee. And now here we are. It's being sold in Starbucks, protein coffees. And your product came up on the radar, and I honestly, it was the first one I've ever seen. I've never seen a protein beverage. I've seen electrolytes. I've seen, hydrogenated water. I think that's how you say it. And all
Yeah.
these other things that people are trying to make happen in this white space. And I was sharing on a last episode that I like to have products that I can share with my children. They're getting older. I also am a boy mom, so I feel your pain and joy. And they're always like laughing when I get samples. They're like, Mommy, can I try that? What is this product? Yada, yada. And of course, a lot of the products that come in this type of a vessel are usually filled with alcohol. So this is really nice to see that it's something unique. It's low calorie. It's 10 grams of protein and it's innovative. I love a new category. I love being a trailblazer and I love finding new founders that have unique stories. And you have a lot of the things that most of the buyers that I speak to on the beverage side are looking for. They're looking for better for you drinks. This has zero juice. Like I said, you have 10 grams of protein. It's low calorie. I did notice that at least in the grapefruit, there's dairy. Can you explain, like with your flavoring and that sort of thing, why there's dairy in the product?
Yeah, for sure. So we should clarify for everyone listening because they're probably like, there's a lot of RTD protein drinks on the market. This is a clear sparkling protein. So it
Yes.
drinks like a soda or like a full flavored sparkling water with clear protein in it. So it's more of like a protein soda, if that helps people like visualize kind of what we're experiencing here. So what happened to me like a year and a half ago, I was like trying to decide I've been trying to decide what I want to do next for like 7 years, but I was trying to decide what I want to do next. And I'm someone who's like well integrated into the health and wellness industry from like a professional and a personal standpoint. And I discovered this product or this ingredient, clear whey protein isolate. And I was like, wait, how did I not know this existed? Like Isopure's been around forever. I guess it just never really was on my radar, but they make a whey protein isolate that dissolves fully in water. It's not like the thick milky texture or sensory experience that we're used to in whey protein. It's like undetectable
Mm-hmm.
and dissolvable in water. So I discovered the ingredient and then I was like, okay, I'm just a protein seeking mom who's been told to like limit everything for my whole life. Like I think the message to women has been like no fat, and then it was like no calories, and then it was like no carbs, and then it was like we're doing paleo, no beans, and then it was like and actually don't eat at all, we're intermittent fasting now, and then this protein revolution comes around and it's the first time the message to women has been like, oh, we actually need you to eat more of something. Like when's the last time that like in the health and wellness space we told women to consume more of something besides maybe vegetables? Like
Yeah,
I
no,
feel like
never.
it never, even the Atkins diet was positioned as like don't eat the bun, it wasn't positioned as like eat the burger, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
so I was just infatuated with this and I was like, someone should put the protein into the sparkling water. I'm drinking 4 LaCroix a day. They taste like dirty socks. It'd be great if one of them was doing more for me. And then I just started working on the product. So that's kind of the background behind it. That was a really long-winded way of saying the reason there is dairy in it is because the whey protein it's like contains milk dairy allergen, if you will. So the protein in the product is derived from collagen peptides and whey protein is.
Hi. Thank you. Now we can sip together. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to you. I'm sipping on the grapefruit. It's very fresca,
It is very
reminiscent. I
fresca.
love it. My dad
Totally.
is going to die. It was his favorite soda growing up. And obviously, he's diabetic like most old men, and he can't drink anything like that. So I'm excited for him to try this today. But you also have a beautiful orange flavor. And then this one's the lemon raspberry, the yellow
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And what made you come up with these certain flavors? Did you want to just stick with like the citrus aspect because you felt like you were going after that type of sparkling mixer as an option? Because most people are going to reach for the lemon and the fresh citrus. And the idea is potentially for dry January, speaking in my mind, like that's what I would be going for. You know, you're looking for something with some lemon or lime with your club soda. Is that why you were leaning into that? Because they're not really the soda flavors.
Yeah, I think for me, I originally was like trying to replace sparkling water. So I'm in a
Mm-hmm.
bit of a like, so I pulled all the data for sparkling water and just found out what the top selling flavors were across like all channels. And it was basically like lemon, lime, grapefruit, raspberry, a few others. So I started working on some flavors. I didn't want to go launch like a guava dragon fruit. I feel like with flavor innovation, and we went through this at Primal too, like the more esoteric you get, like it's already weird to have protein in a soda. So like I don't need to then sell people on some weird flavor combination they're not used to buying. So it was really more of just like a strategic decision and like let's just go remake the top best selling flavors with protein. But I think what I've come to realize is like we'll see where the brand evolves, but it's drinking more like a soda. Would you say it drinks more like a soda or like you said,
A
fresca,
thousand
right? I think the
percent. To me,
orange
this one
tastes
tastes like a
an
soda. The boys
totally.
tried the orange. They said it's like Fanta. And I'm like, great,
Mhm.
drink it. Because we don't have soda in my house. I grew up with my mom from Minnesota, loved Coca-Cola. That was what she had. That was what she'd have often instead of coffee. It was her drink of choice. She loved the Coke in the bottle. She'd always get like the Santa ones in the holiday time. And it was funny to me because we were never allowed to have soda. It wasn't like she said no. It was just like, these are mom sodas. And prior to that, it was Tab, which is so bad for you.
Yeah.
And she like would write her name on it in a Sharpie. And it was like, we knew this was my mom's thing. This is like her coffee, her drug of choice. So like, we never touched it. And it wasn't something that because she said no in her own way that we were like looking for it. But every once in a while, of course, you're at a birthday party or like when I was older in college, if I was like driving home late, I would grab like a cherry Coke or something. And I personally don't keep any of that in the house either. But now, same thing. I have kids. They're going to parties. They're trying things at other people's houses. And now it's like my oldest one's 12. So he's like, at restaurants, can I get a cherry Coke or can I? And I'm like, no, it's so bad for you. And we don't need to add any more of this garbage. So when you sent me samples, I was so excited for them to try it because I know they'll be dead honest, obviously, but also they're looking for something, as am I. I'm looking for something for them that is better for them. And like I said, like how smart and innovative to add the protein. I mean, people are probably going to continue to blow up this space and try to outdo one another and find the hero brand. But I'm always looking to support the first timers, the female founders, and the packaging. The packaging for me is what sells it, because you shop with your eyes first, right?
Well, girls for women too. I feel like the beverage is such like extension of our personality. So it's like, I don't want to walk around like it's like part of our
It's an accessory.
In a way that like your mayonnaise isn't, like Primal Kitchen needed to just communicate like we were the first avocado oil mayonnaise. It's an amazing product. It's clean and it looks good in my pantry, but you walk around with your beverage. It's like next to your purse, like almost more visual than your purse. So yeah, I was like psychotic about the packaging.
I'm so into it. It's very good. Obviously, like I said, I always try to wear something on this show that relates to the guest that is going to be on it. And I was super excited to match this can. But yeah, it's so fun. When I had it in studio prior to the show, people kept asking me about it, and I want to make sure that we give you your, kudos, that everybody needs to follow you on Drink Whey on Instagram. If people aren't already, please go follow the brands, try the product. As I mentioned, it's in Sprouts and Whole Foods and certain markets, right, Morgan?
Yeah, we're actually nationwide with Sprouts, and as of nationwide with Whole Foods, and as of 3 days ago, nationwide with Sprouts. So amazing Sprouts and pretty much every Whole Foods in the country. Yeah. Perfect.
So where's the next target you're looking to go for? Is it Target?
I mean, we're pushing hard on Amazon. It's shocking like how fast Amazon has taken off for us. So
well, that goes hand in hand with Whole Foods, right?
Yeah, but they're pretty like operationally disconnected. Like they're not talking to each other that much. It's not like, it's a choice if you go on Amazon or not. It's not like Whole Foods, you have to go to the quarterly review and sell it in and you're on the shelf and it's a whole thing, right? So yeah, it's different.
It surprises me because I would think that they would, again, my brain starts with the alcohol business. So like usually if you see it at this location, then their sister location is going to make it a little bit easier of a process to bring it in. So that's not how it works with Amazon. That's interesting to know because like I said, I'm trying to learn all the time when I have guests on here in the space that I'm unfamiliar with. So that's interesting to hear. What do you think are the cons of potentially going there? Is it that maybe margins are going to be a lot higher in prices, or do you think the opposite? Like what's kind of like the things that people who are potentially thinking about putting a product on Amazon that you've been weighing, like pros and cons, if you wouldn't mind sharing?
Yeah, I mean, I think I went in with this preconceived notion that like Amazon sucks if you're shipping heavy beverage across the country, right? But I think the reality is margins suck no matter where you're selling in the beverage industry.
Yeah.
Outside of alcohol, right?
1,000%. A can has no margin.
No, I mean, it's bad. So I think at the beginning, I've just chosen to it's new. There's a bunch of brands chasing this white space now. Like there's a new one launching every week. So I'm trying to just get the product into as many hands as possible. And we're working on margin. We've switched from digitally printed to direct print cans that save 16 cents. That's tremendous amount of savings on a product that, with this kind of COGS. So anyway, yeah, I think we're in a little bit of a new world. I think old school thinking would have been beverage can't do well on Amazon. You don't want to pay to ship the product, but new age thinking is Liquid Death's #1 and most profitable account 2 years ago was Amazon. In beverage is weird because people don't want to carry a case. They don't want to put the case in their shopping cart. It's already full. And then they have to load it in their car, then bring it in. So they just have beverage cases just delivered to their house. So I think it's one, whereas mayonnaise is something, it's such a pantry item. You just kind of pick it up and you may always have 1 or 2 in your pantry or 1 in your fridge. You're not I just think beverage over indexes on e-com, and it's kind of a sleeping sleeping channel that most people aren't really thinking about.
I'm with you. I'm asking the question because obviously, like I said, I want to have it interesting for people who are listening, and I also want the people who are potentially listening and maybe dreaming and aspiring to do so. I personally buy everything on Amazon. I did do the Liquid Death auto ship because I couldn't find it anywhere back then. And I also have a coconut water that I'm loyal to that I love, that I just recently found out that PepsiCo owns now, that I could only get. It's called Naked.
Oh, interesting.
It's in a Tetra Pak. It is the only coconut water that doesn't taste like chemicals, added sugar. It tastes like it's out of the damn coconut from the tree. And I love it so much. It's in a Tetra Pak. And yes, like it's heavy AF. They ship it in this big double cardboard situation, but nothing breaks. Everything's been fine, you know, and I'm super happy with the way that it gets delivered. I'm sure I'm paying an arm and a leg extra if it was carried at a Costco or a Sam's, but
Oh, well, Costco is cheaper than everyone because their markup's only 12%. Like, Walmart's markup's 35, Whole Foods is like 42. So you can do the math. Like there's nowhere that provides the value Costco is providing. And it's just simply
1,000%.
a matter of economics.
But also some people like myself, like I said, some people don't like that experience. I hate shopping. Like I don't like going
I'm
into
with you.
stores.
I like going into Whole Foods and I order Instacart from Sprouts.
Right. I do
Yeah.
the same.
But
And
I'm
Whole
I'm
Foods
more
is
moms.
different.
Like, who has time to go to the grocery store? I don't know. Like, it's like Sunday and I'm scrambling for the week, and it's so easy. Just like add again to the cart, add again to the cart, add again to the cart.
I
Okay,
know.
moving on.
I know. I don't even want to look at what my average is because I definitely am like always doing way too much because it's the same thing. Like today, my son was like, oh, I want this. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's $35 for the free delivery. What else am I adding? You know, and it's just like so unnecessary. But like you said, with waters and that sort of thing, of course, I'm just going to have an obnoxious amount because the expiration date isn't the same as the produce. But anywho, yes, the Costco's are always going to be the best pricing. And in the spirits world, I personally don't have brands that are coming to me looking to get into a Costco. They're usually looking for, obviously, the Total Wines of the world and all of the chain liquor stores. But then the second step is Whole Foods. So I just had a brand that's an RTD just get onboarded for Whole Foods in a couple markets, and that portal is such a pain in the butt just for submissions. And it sounds like you actually went and had a meeting in person.
Okay, so when you sell into Whole Foods, there's like, in most retail, aside from like smaller, maybe regional chains, but they publish a category review once a year in April. They review all the submissions for beverage, and then that category resets in October. So they start having meetings with brands, and then it's like May, they meet with snacks. June, they meet with whatever, poultry and yogurt. July, it just goes like that the whole year. They're always reviewing like different sets of the grocery store, and then they reset the whole grocery store like 6 months later,
Yeah.
category by category. So it's very much like a set process to get on shelf in retail. Like,
It's interesting. It's a little different from us. So they always have different resets for sure, but you can do like a pulse, like a quick little flash in and out and just like kind of test market, I guess.
Their grocery's not nearly as good as test market stuff, with the exception of Costco. Like, anyone who's listening, I like, Costco's a great retailer. It's like a great place for discovery. Once you have distribution elsewhere, like, don't sleep on Costco. Like,
See,
it's a
that's
great
what I
place to
want to
drive
hear because I
trial.
don't know that world. Like I said, most
Oh
of my
yeah,
brands look at
no.
Costco like, yeah, they have liquor stores. All the liquor stores are privately owned. They're not like owned by the
Costco chain.
the Costco chain.
So Costco doesn't sell alcohol?
No, they'll sell wine on the wine side, but like you have
okay.
to have a separate license for the spirit side. So it's like a whole thing. I honestly have only ever submitted, I think maybe 2 brands to Costco, and both times they're like way too expensive, not the type of product we usually look for. And obviously they're big into their white label. So different
Yeah.
space. So it's interesting to hear about that chain. Are you looking to go into, like I said, potentially like the Walmarts, the Targets? Because I feel like your packaging speaks to Target so much.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think there will be a time for sure, a time and a place. We'll see how soon that is.
So
I don't know.
where is like your dream state to potentially go into market next? You guys are nationwide, which for those of you listening who don't understand DTC and all of that, because she's non-alcoholic, she can ship anywhere in the US.
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive.
Yes.
But
okay.
outside of that, in the spirits world, obviously we have different legalities. But there are, like you said, you were looking at all of the data prior to coming out with this gorgeous product. And I'm sure that you had your own assumptions of like where people were really purchasing high and heavy in different markets for sparkling. But because, like I said, to me, it personally tastes like a soda, I see you guys blowing up in the Midwest. And that's why I'm saying, like, you should definitely look into a Target or one of the big retailers out there. There's a lot of gorgeous grocery stores. Like, I love Rouse's in Louisiana, and I love
Yeah.
Woodman's in Wisconsin. If you guys are out there listening, I know some of my buyers do like to tune in. You should check out Whey because it's delicious and it's a great product, and it's a unique new way to get protein into not only us moms, but our children's diets. And it's a nice option, like I said, for those of my friends out there that are sober curious or just doing dry January, or some people call it parched something. I don't know. It's a nice alternative because, like Morgan said, it's gorgeous packaging. It's fun to walk around with. You still feel included because it's in the slim can. So it relates to those RTDs out there in the world. And we need to make sure that we get this out in everybody's hands because it's delicious. And I want it to stay and have such a successful story, just like Primal Kitchen, because now you've met the top there, Morgan. You can't go down from there. You got to keep building, right?
No pressure.
No pressure. It's hilarious. So you sent it to me. The way that you mailed the samples to me, is that how it ships if people ordered? Can they just order the product just by flavor, or is there a variety pack options also?
There's a variety pack on Amazon, and you can order by flavor. WAAY. It's like Whey if you're searching Amazon. Variety pack or single flavor. We're doing like subscribe and save on single flavor, not on variety pack, because repacking into a variety pack is too expensive. But you can try them all out with the variety pack and then subscribe to whichever one you like the most.
Perfect. Love it. Is there an expiration like on the cans?
Yeah, they're good for like a year.
Okay,
and you're gonna
perfect.
drink them before they go.
Amazing. Are you thinking of doing some other flavor extensions potentially?
I'm launching powders and a 20-gram version in the new year. So
Ooh, very exciting. That's
powder
cool. So is it going to
version
be a
that
bigger
has-
can?
same can.
Oh, nice. I love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then a powder version that has electrolytes, collagen, whey protein, and creatine. So all the things we need as
Covering
the
all
mom.
the bases. That's amazing. Are
It's
they going to
kind of
be
like
the
an
same
electrolyte
flavor
plus snack.
profile?
No, new flavor profiles, new flavors. It'll be too confusing.
That's so exciting. Well, that's it. That's something new. And everybody, like I said, if you didn't already, go follow her on Instagram. Are you on any other social media channels that you want them to follow you on, Morgan?
I think our newsletter is like a great place to follow along. So you can sign up at drinkway.com. And then I'm Morgan Zanotti, Zanotti on Instagram and TikTok, and Drinkway on Instagram and TikTok.
So fun. TikTok is where you have to be, man. That's one of the things, like you were saying, don't sleep on Costco, don't sleep on TikTok. People are
Don't
really
sleep on
killing it there.
Shop. TikTok shop is crushing it. It's true. Yeah.
Who do you think has been the most unique buyer that you've seen come across in the sales, if you don't mind sharing? Has there been any location or anybody's name that you were like, oh, wow, I can't believe that they ordered?
Oh, for me, I haven't. I see, because we're not selling D2C, so I don't know. Like, you mean actual people? Like, have any celebrities ordered or
Yeah.
anything like that? I don't know, because we're selling through Amazon, so I have no idea who's ordering. There is a really amazing woman, Maya Henry. She has a huge following, and she like posted about the product randomly. Dr. Amy Killen, I love her. She's a big longevity doctor. She loves the product. My favorite moment, Dr. Kelly Casperson, who's kind of like a huge menopause, perimenopause hormone influencer doctor. I was at an event, we brought Whey. I've never met her before this event. Like, I didn't talk to her before. She got on stage with a Whey. This is like before we even launched. And she holds it up to the audience and she's like, what is this? Like,
Oh
where do
my
I find this? This
gosh.
is amazing. And it was just like, there's so much stress and like self-doubt and imposter syndrome and anxiety that goes along with launching your own business. And so it was kind of this moment.
Pinch
I was
me
like, oh, I
moment.
really needed that. Yeah, she loved it.
I love that.
Unprovoked, just like love for the brand. So that was cool.
That's amazing. It's really nice to have support from people that you idolize or you look up to, and I'm sure there's been people that have been reaching out to you, like I keep referencing in Instagram, like in your DMs or something. That's always such a fun thing as a founder or an owner of a company. to have someone write back and basically be like, I see you, like, I get it and I understand it and I want to support it. That's why I ask, because it's so fun, and it's also really nice that you engage. Like I said, I cold DM'd you guys, and you guys were happy to participate, to come on Sippin and Selling, and I'm happy to be a part of the journey and hopefully get more of your product's name out there. And I appreciate you being so responsive. And I think that that's something that's important for anybody who's listening who is unsure about what to do, whether it's in the beverage space or it's just their own dream that they're debating on bringing to market. It's really nice because if you have the passion, like you said, Morgan, you already at an early age were really into your health, and that is being ahead of the curve and the trends. And you just like rode that wave. And if you continue to do that, as much as it's hard and as much as it's like a grind being a mom and a business owner, it's nice and fulfilling to have then a moment like that. And it's nice to sit in it and relish in it and be like, wow, that's so cool that she came up on the stage with that can and she wanted to know about my product, because the passion is what speaks, right? And it gets through to people. So it's really cool. I'm happy for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you being along for the journey. It's amazing. So it was great.
Of course. Is there anything else that you feel like that we didn't touch on about Whey that maybe I skipped over, or anything else that you would like to talk about with the audience so that we can just make sure that we round out this episode and that you get everything out of it that you were looking for?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like you got it. You tell me.
I could talk for days, so I have plenty of other things to ask you. So when you first launched, did you do like bootstrap type of events where you just went to maybe like farmers markets and that sort of thing? Like, how did you get your product out there to start? I mean, you didn't just come from concept to Whole Foods. So talk about all the nitty gritty in between.
I did go from concept to Whole Foods.
You did?
So, yeah.
Well, you're one in a million, Chica.
Yeah, we sold it into Whole Foods. I have a friend over there from the Primal Kitchen days, so I think I was able to like get him in front of the right people. He's like a big champion of the brand and an amazing human. And so I met with them in April, just their regular category review time. And then it reset in October, and it was a huge scramble. When I met with them, I had like cans that were silver with no packaging on them. I hadn't finalized my logo. I hadn't finalized my packaging. I hadn't finalized my formula, and I didn't know where I was going to run the product. And I had until like August to figure it out.
Wow. Okay.
Like in April, I got the acceptance from Whole Foods, and like I had to finalize packaging by like middle of May, because I had to go print cans to make it in time for this production run in early August to ship in September to meet the October timeline. So it was crazy.
Yeah.
But that is crazy. The first, I mean, we launched on Amazon maybe 2 weeks before we rolled into Whole Foods, but those were my first two retailers.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of events for like awareness and stuff, a lot of like small mom and pop, like all the Pilates workout class sponsorships and all that kind of stuff. But we didn't do farmers markets or anything like that.
Where are you located? Are you in California?
Yeah, I'm in LA. Yeah.
Did you do that Founderland event?
I did go to Founderland. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you feel like you had a good response there? I'm always invited by some of my brands, and it's been a mixed bag.
I mean, we didn't like, we just hung out at Founderland.
You didn't like have a booth or anything?
I don't even think I brought samples, to be honest. There was just some industry people, like it was more kind of like just a fun event. It wasn't really like there was no real ROI maybe. I mean, there is this ROI in the sense of like networking. I wasn't like working a booth at Founderland.
Got it. Okay. Well, I asked, like I said, because I hear that it's a mixed bag and people are either loving it or just being like, there's too many vendors or whatever. And I didn't get to meet the right people.
Event. I love Josh and Sean, who run Founderland, are super great guys. And it was a super fun event. I connected actually with it was fun for me, but more just from like a networking standpoint. It was totally worth it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's what I was curious about.
There's not that many vendors there. I feel like from a vendor's, there's only like, I don't know, you're there like all day. The setting's amazing. I think it's cool.
All right, good. Well, I appreciate
a lot of founders. So yes, there's like buyers, but it feels more like I would go in with more of like a networking mindset than like I'm going to open Whole Foods as an account
Yeah, I
mindset.
think the client that I'm talking about was looking to find like some sort of big time buyer. I don't know if they were thinking of a Bevmo or whoever from California, but I think that was the mindset that they were going in with. Like, oh, well, we should have met like more national chain,
Yeah.
whoever. And I don't think that was their experience, but I don't know if that was because they were spirits based and there was a lot of competition.
I don't think there was a lot of spirits there. It was a
Okay.
lot of like food, and they
Food.
had like a whole like THC, like CP. There's a lot of, it's more like CPG, like
Okay.
beauty, supplements, snacks, beverages, other food products. There was a whole like THC section. So there was a
Fun.
lot of like that whole thing was going on. Like, um, yeah, it
What do
was
you
cool.
think about that THC section? We touched on it a little bit here because it's so controversial. And,
Yeah.
your state is definitely more open. Do you feel like there's some exhaustion in the category over there? Too much competition? Do you feel like people are just putting it in anything at this point?
I think there's definitely a place for it. Like, I feel like I was in Wisconsin on vacation last summer, and like my friend's older sister was like, I don't drink anymore. I just like do these can things now. It's amazing. And Can had like CANN,
Yeah.
Can, right? Like that, one of the big brands. But they have like this epic innovation that's like a little sachet. It's called a roadie, and you can just like pour it into your like seltzer water at a bar or whatever mixer you want to use at home. I thought that was like the best
That
innovation I've
is
ever
cool.
seen. I'm like,
I
this
haven't
is
even heard of
genius.
that.
Like, yeah, it's so smart. And then my friend Ben runs a company called Dadgrass, and I like love his sleep supplement. It has like a 1/4 milligram of THC and a ton of CBD in it. And it is like, if you wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning and you can't go back to sleep, I keep them like tucked in between my mattress and my headboard, and I just take half and I'm asleep again in
I
30 minutes.
needed that last night. I
If
had
I
such
didn't
bad
take it,
insomnia last night. I'm
you're
gonna have
up.
to look it up.
It's the perimenopause. You're up for like 3 hours, right? So I feel like I love Dadgrass. I am definitely not the person to speak on the category. I like don't do THC well or a lot of it at all, but I do recognize. I think the industry's in a little bit of a holding pattern, like to see where all this regulation stuff shakes out.
For sure.
Um, but I think there's definitely something there. I think like these vice categories, like in the end of the day, there's always gonna be people who like want to change the way their mental state feels, be it
Mhm.
caffeine, alcohol, weed, whatever. So I don't see it like slowing down anytime soon. I think, it's just you're stuck in a little bit of like a regulatory kind of washing machine. Like, will we, won't we, what's happening, sort of a thing.
I agree,
Um,
and that's why the time is now for your category because you just go fill that space and that shelf space and be like, "Well, sorry guys."
yeah.
I have on my Instagram, some people always like if I'll put up polls about questions that potentially they want me to ask about brands, like I said, because this is uncharted waters for me. One of the questions that always comes up for founders is like, should they spend money on influencers, or did you guys spend money on paid advertisements? Did you pay for Instagram followers? I get a lot of that. Did you guys do any of that? Do you have any 2 cents in that
Yeah.
category?
Yeah. I think like you don't want to be like spending a bunch of money on marketing if you don't have distribution. So like I'm not a big like we're just now at Primal Kitchen, and it's like a $200 million brand doing like top of the funnel like brand awareness type plays. Prior to that, everything was kind of like ROI driven advertisement. Like I'd wait if I had $10 and I was launching like for me, I would spend, and I'm on Amazon and I'm in Sprouts.
Hmm.
I'm spending like $2 on Amazon ads, $2 on Instacart ads, maybe 50 cents on influencer, maybe $1 on seeding. So, like, just sending product and seeing who just posts about it for free. And then you can kind of like see which influencers actually love your product and post about it. And if people actually love and post about it, then you could kind of work out a deal with them. But that world has gotten crazy. Like when we launched Primal Kitchen, there was no such thing as an influencer. Like we launched through influencers, but like no one referred to themselves as an influencer. Like, this is 2015. TikTok wasn't even invented yet.
Right.
It was like such a different world. And but we shipped boxes every quarter to people who had followings online. Now it's like everyone has an agent. You never know if it's gonna get views or not. It's just like feels so hit or miss. So we're, I don't know, kind of like navigating that, but like treading lightly, I would say, not
Yeah.
like going and spending 50 grand on influencer marketing on day one.
It makes sense because, like I said, most people ask me, and I'm in the spirits industry. So I'm always like, spend your money on tastings, invest in your product getting liquid to lips, where, like you said in the beginning of our episode, there's not as much margin with cans as there is in the beverage space. So sometimes people do want to get creative. And a lot of these spirits brands also now are having these other channels where they are also able to sell through a TikTok shop or
Yeah.
some sort of DTC hybrid model. And so they're like trying to bypass the expensive ways of marketing their brand, which I completely understand. And I always try to get creative and tell them like what I know how to do, which is maybe doing a scan or a combo with another product and try to split that cost. Like if you hitch a ride to a sparkling product, like a sparkling water, sparkling wine, a Fever Tree type of thing. So I love when my following asks me questions like this because I don't personally handle anything with that with the spirits brands. They have their own marketing teams. Either they're like a big marketing, budget and they have a million influencers and all that, or they are a really, really small brand that's like, let's start just selling online and let's see if it moves, and kind of doing what you're talking about, where they will send little influencer kits out. And if there's a return on that investment of the shipping of the samples, like maybe they have the conversations after the fact. But there's always these questions about what I think. And I'm like, I don't know. That's not where my forte is. And we own brands with my family. And my father's always saying, like, please just pay for an Instagram ad. Just do it. And you'll see like a following go up a little bit here and there. And maybe a few little engagements in the inbox, but it's kind of like, to me, I'm like, is it real? Are they real people? Is this bots? So I don't really know what to answer. So that's why I wanted to ask you the question. So I appreciate you giving your 2 cents on it.
I mean, I think it's also so subjective, right? Like how much money did you raise? How fast you need to grow? Like it's hard to put a blanket statement on it. I mean, there's no doubt influencers are effective. I just think people can get caught up, like if they don't know better, they're like paying 5 grand for one reel, and it's like, what's that going to do? It's better to have
Yeah.
like a longer relationship with someone who's going to post a lot. I don't know. It's like so nuanced.
Yeah, I hear you. So when it comes to this type of category, do you guys put in the budget samplings for once you launch in Whole Foods, or what do you
Yeah,
what do you
we're
say?
shipping. We're like reaching out to influencers and shipping samples all the time.
But are you putting together like a budget for in-store demonstrations, or how are you getting it
Yeah,
off the
yeah.
shelf?
Yeah, for us, like we're focusing heavy on demos at Whole Foods, and then we're focusing heavy on Instacart ads for Sprouts. A lot of
Amazing.
Sprouts volume is like delivery through Instacart, so that's kind of where we're at right now.
Love it. Amazing. Well, Morgan, thank you so much for being a part of my
Yeah, this was
Sippin and Selling
amazing.
podcast. You're
Thank you
so
for having
fun.
me.
You're a
You're
good
so
time. You
fun.
had some good guests in the background. Love to see some,
I know. I'm like, who is sneaking into the guest bedroom office again? The girls are coming over to work here today, so they just keep like, someone keeps coming in with a laptop. I'm like, what is
It's
happening?
fine. Well, I
Anyway,
always like to make everything light and bright here. It's not serious. I'll turn it into a drinking game. Every time you see someone pop up in the back of Morgan's screen, take a sip of your Whey and tag us at Sippin and Selling Whey. Good time.
yeah, I like it. You've got the marketing mind.
I
It's amazing.
try.
Well, if
I
you know any
try.
brands that want to do these tag along things with Whey, let me know. I'm looking for any way to expand. I'm open. So
Pun
super fun.
intended. I love
Pun
that.
intended.
Well, for
Pun
sure.
intended.
Just keep in touch. And everybody, like I said, please go follow Morgan and Whey. It is delicious. I encourage you guys to try it, buy it, get on the auto ship, go find it in Sprouts or Whole Foods. Morgan Zanotti from Whey Protein Beverage, thank you so much for coming on. Stay tuned for her new flavors. She's going to come out with a 20-gram protein version and some electrolyte packets that have a bunch of other benefits in them. Thank you guys for tuning in to Sippin and Selling with Morgan Zanotti, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sipping and Selling
With Joey Chanel.